We are back with another video in our series created to make investing in quality photography extremely easy. So today we're going to break down the types of photographers and we've got it really squared off into just three. So I guess I should say it's a triangle. Now, everyone with a camera is not a professional photographer. Like, it's just not. Depending on your focus and your needs, you may choose one of the three for your next photography project. So we're going to talk about hobbyists, shoot and burners, and professional photographers. So this conversation begins with talking about hobbyists. And these are the people who enjoy photography, have always loved carrying their camera when they're on vacation. They snap a cajillion photos of landscapes and flowers and animals and all the things. They may or may not be using a pro consumer camera, right? And a pro consumer camera is a camera that has some professional features, but is not professional and is really geared towards being easy for consumers to use. They do have a pretty good eye for good looking images, right? And people compliment them on the work that they create. And every blue moon, they will dabble with photographing people. It starts with the family function, the work office party. They start there and then they start wondering, maybe I'll take a couple of pictures here and there of a couple of portraits to see if photography is a viable career choice. Now, the hobbyist typically gives away every single digital image. They also, if they take time to invest in any kind of editing software, will edit every single image, all 500, all 666 images, because that's what they believe professional photographers do. Now, when they accept any kind of payment, any kind of, well, I'll give you a gift or a donation for your time, it is far below the market value, so far below that they typically believe, is this the normal for what photographers do? Do they really give out 200 digital images for 4 hours of time and another, let's say, 3 hours of editing time for $100? Do they really do that? That answer is no, we don't. We don't really do that. But that's your hobbyist. And because they carry a pro consumer camera, and some of them with the cost of things and credit buy professional cameras, people assume, oh, you're a professional. And so you can easily be swayed by this person who says, oh, well, yeah, I'll do it for $300, when in actuality, someone else was professional, quoted you $3,000. I didn't understand the term starving artist until I began my photography business, and I followed the method of a shoot and burner. And I didn't even know that I was doing that until I really got my education down and decided what my business setup should be, my structure. So your shoot and burn is just that. They come out, they photograph your event, they photograph your senior sessions, they photograph whatever, and they're done. It's here are the digital images, I'll take the cash, I'm out. That's what they do. And there's nothing wrong with that. There is something for every single photographer that is out here. There's a need for all the things, right? Because depending on your project, you may not need X, Y, Z today. You may need just a shoot and burn. It's what you need. Someone to come in, get it done, and like be done with it. So this is typically a low-cost photography investment. I remember doing 150 images for $100 on a CD, but spending about 3 hours worth of my time getting all that done. And I'm thinking, how is that supposed to be sustainable? Typically, it is not sustainable. So most of your people who are shoot and burners also have another job to make the ends meet, or they do a lot of volume photography to make the ends meet, because with the low cost, it's really hard to get all the value. Now, they are primarily a digital product provider, i.e. digital images. They don't really focus on the experience or tangible products. Like, they're not offering albums. They may offer prints, but they don't have a very deep or what's the right word? A variety of photo products that you could choose from if you go down that road, say for a senior portrait session, they may just have the images, but they don't offer graduation cards. They don't offer metal prints. They don't offer albums. They haven't gotten that far into their structure of the business. What really comes into play is when you need or are using this person and they don't have the legal right to operate in certain spaces. So as a shoot and burner, sometimes those persons don't do all the things to legally protect themselves, and that includes carrying business insurance. But when you operate on state properties or in other venues, they require a certificate of insurance to make sure that if anything happens, there is someone to cover the bill. And a lot of shoot and burners don't go down that road. So it becomes kind of sticky when you want to work in a state park and they require insurance to get a permit. And they're like, do you really need it? No, you don't need it. Not until all hell breaks loose. All right, here's our final one, your professional photographer. So we lumped all of them in here because, well, we can. But here are the main things that you want to look at if it really cares. Now, they do use top-notch equipment. It doesn't really matter. Your professional photographers, they understand the science of photography and they understand lighting. So they can really use any equipment to get the image because it's not about the gear. That they understand too. But they are using some pretty good stuff. And they are using some really expensive lenses. So just understand that we're not talking like $50. We're talking like a $5,000 lens, which as a professional, the glass can make a difference on the image created. That part is true. They do have permits. They do have their business insurance. They are covered across the board. Their client is covered if anything happens. The venue is covered if anything happens. Their equipment is covered if anything happens. Keep in mind, they are spending anywhere between $5,000 to $20,000. I don't want to say per year, but per year on photography equipment. It needs to be covered. They also have a focus on the client experience and preserving memories. They are offering a variety of albums and wall art and metal prints and cards, jewelry, all the things you can think of. They have a collection that they've created for their clients. They may also come in and do delivery and installation of that wall art. There are so many different focuses for the client experience that this adds into why they are professional. Now, the price depends on the photographer's experience and their editing time. Editing time will always add to the cost. I like to look at professional photographers in three groups. There are your lower range, there's your mid-range, and then there's luxury. Luxury, I have seen senior sessions go for $25,000. A senior session, not a wedding, just the senior session. In the middle, I've seen senior sessions go for $2,000 to $5,000, right? And at the lower end, I see them at $500, could be more. Every single photographer makes their own prices based on what they're offering and their editing time. This is not a one-size-fits-all, right? So what one photographer does doesn't mean that another one will do. But one thing is consistent. There is a focus on photography education and honing of their skills. They never rest on their laurels. They don't say, well, that was last year, so I'm not going to worry about it again. They're always working towards something new to stay new and fresh and up to date with all the changes in the photography industry. Thank you for watching this video on discussing the different types of photographers, and we hope that you are leaving this conversation with more information and more understanding of the complex world of photography and selecting a photographer. But now that you know what to look for and the different types, hopefully you will be able to select the right person for your next photography project. Be well.